And we are back at Up North at 4. Today we are joined with a local author who published a novel, Rick B. And the novel's name is The Freakin Destination, which this title is pretty cool, Rick.
A little risque, a little risque.
A little risque, I gotta tell you, because there's all these questions, well, where's the destination going to? So, and I love your animal here. We'll get into that in a little bit. So tell us about, well, I guess the title really, what did you write about? Well,
it's a story about a through hike of the Ice Age Trail, and it's a fictional story. It's inspired by the hike that my wife and I did over the course of 8 years, finishing in 2012. I decided after finishing it up that I should write a memoir, maybe a memoir and a field guide, and then I realized, well, our hike wasn't all that interesting, and neither are we. So, so I needed to make stuff up, and I decided to make instead a novel, and it's about two characters, novice backpackers who hike the entire trail and run into any number of dicey situations.
What was your writing process like?
Oh, it was all over the place, and it took me a long time to write. About 8 years to write, and I'm what's called a seat of the pants writer. There are organized people who write, from an outline. Well, I'm not one of those people. I write pretty much just see what happens next. The nice thing about the Ice Age Trail and writing about it is that it's its own outline. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. But it's what's in the middle, more or less, that kept my interest.
And tell us a little bit about your friend here. Do you write about him in your book and mention?
No. This is Mort the Mammoth, and the woolly mammoth is the official mascot of the Ice Age Trail because the mammoth was around largely about the same time that Wisconsin's glacial landscape was sculpted, 10 to 14,000 years ago. Mort accompanies me on book talks and book sale events. He's really handy in that, kids like him and they drag his parents in, and maybe the parents buy a book, So, yeah.
Well, I like him, okay. And so he's really cute. So when it comes to the book, so you said it took 8 years to write. Yeah. And I guess, was it just inspiration that came out, because you went on a hike, you said with your wife you would hike, so did that thought just come to your mind one day and inspired you to write a book, or did you find it interesting enough, okay, there's a lot of cool things on this hike, and so informative, I should let this out into the world?
Yeah, a lot of what's in the book is the trail itself. And in fact, like I said, I wanted to write a guidebook, but I'm not a scientist, and I'm not really, I don't know that much about geology, but I wanted to be true to the Ice Age Trail. So this is actually the real places, both on the trail and in between. Only about 700 of the 12,000 miles of the Ice Age Trail are completed at this point. So between those sections that are completed, you have to hike the road in order to be what's called a 1,000-miler, somebody who's recognized as having hiked the whole trail. So the roads in between, I've tried to make it as realistic as possible.
All right, thanks so much.
It does sound really interesting and a lot of information. So where can people find this book?
They can get it on my website, thebumblepoint.com, and they can also buy it at several independent bookstores in Minocqua, Wausau, Stevens Point, and Wapaka here in the Channel 12 viewing area.
Okay, thank you, Rick, so much. Thank you so much for coming. We'll be right back after this break.